Members of Pasang Mazda and Liga ng Transportasyon at Operators ng Pilipinas are not joining the transport strike next week. But Transport Group Manibela said it can still gather around 40,000 operators and drivers to protest the PUV modernization program. Meantime, the government is still trying to avert the week-long mass action. Gerard de la Peña with the details.
Tens of thousands of Jeepney and UV Express units are set to take part in the planned week-long transport strike starting March 6. Some drivers have already prepared for the strike.
Sasama kami. Kasi kung talagang haharangin ng bawat isa, wala na kaming magawa.
But some transport groups like Pasang Mazda said that its members will not participate.
Hindi kaya ng isang super ang tigil pasada ng 1 week. Hindi ko sinisiraan ng manubela na yan. Pero based on my experience, hindi kami umabot ng 1 week.
But the remarks of other transport groups caught the ire of Manibela President Marval Buena. He said they will push through with the strike and that they will no longer heed the Transport Department's call for a dialogue.
Wala na munang dialogo. I will stand on my ground. Itutuloy na lang namin ito kung ganyan po na nagyayabangan na lang tayo.
Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista said that he has spoken to Valbuena and invited him for a meeting. But Valbuena was firm in saying that there will no longer be talks between his group and the DOTR, which was scheduled on Tuesday afternoon. Bautista said that he will talk to the officials of the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board to tackle Manibela's concerns. Valbuena complained of inconsistent policies regarding the consolidation program. He said processing of applications were put to a halt in 2020. But the LTFRB changed the rules when the applications for the formation of cooperatives resumed in 2021. Valbuena said that operators should join existing cooperatives in particular routes instead of forming new ones.
Ano pa yung essence nun? So nag-form kami, gumastos kami dun sa kooperatiba, naghirap kami, isasama mo rin pala kami. And then, dahil ipit na kami ngayon, magme-membro ako sa iba, ano yung kapalit nito? Mas mataas na membership fee.
Valbuena said that 3 to 4 months won't be enough to join or form cooperatives. For the LTFRB's part, Bautista said they will discuss amongst themselves if the recent memo, which put a June 30 deadline for operators to join cooperatives, will be withdrawn. Bautista added that some modern PUVs and UV Express operators have committed to continue operations next week. Other agencies like the MMDA and the Philippine Coast Guard, meanwhile, will provide trucks and buses should there be stranded passengers. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, We Are One News.
Authorities are expecting more travelers over at the NAIA starting March. The Manila International Airport Authority said this is because the tourism sector is bouncing back after more than 2 years of COVID-19 restrictions. Aside from NAIA, several airlines have also resumed their operations at the Clark International Airport in Pampanga. The Bureau of Immigration says the issue of long lines at their counters does not only happen in the Philippines. BI said this is a global concern as countries open up borders as pandemic restrictions ease. To address this, the Bureau is exploring the use of additional electronic gates to lessen processing times. The e-travel portal for departing passengers will also be launched in March, which will reduce paper-based forms. The BI reiterates its reminder to air travelers to check in at least 3 hours before their flight. More stories coming your way after a quick break. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Angela Lagunzad. President Bongbong Marcos makes a pitch for a new product to help ease the agricultural sector concerned on the supply of fertilizers. President Marcos said they will introduce biofertilizers to lessen the dependence on expensive and imported petroleum-based fertilizers. The president, who is also the agricultural secretary, said that the DA conducted trials on biofertilizers which supposedly yielded promising results. And the president also said that non-organic fertilizers will remain. Still on the president, he says it's high time for government to prioritize the maritime industry. Marcos Jr. said 25% of seafarers around the world are Filipinos, which is why the remittances reached 6.7 billion pesos in 2022. With this, the chief executive bared an 8-point maritime industry development plan until 2028. The plan aims to strengthen the sector by upgrading the local and overseas shipping industry, as well as promote a competitive maritime workforce.
I certainly believe that we can do more, especially here at home. We already hold the most vital ingredient to success, which is our seafarers. All we need to do now is to ensure that we harness their knowledge, make use of their experience, and mobilize our local industries to build an even stronger domestic maritime industry for the benefit of our people.
President Marcos also called on concerned agencies to continue coordinating with the International Maritime Organization and the European Union Committee on Safe Seas. This after EU raised concerns regarding the Philippine standard in training seafarers.
I also urge all concerned agencies to pursue a whole-of-government approach to effectively implement the MIDP 2028, as well as to continue communicating with member states of the International Maritime Organization and the European Union Committee on Safe Seas. As a leader, I assure you that this administration will give its unqualified support in your aspirations of building a Philippine maritime industry that will be looked upon with admiration by the region and the rest of the world.
Here's a quick look at today's other top stories. Responders have resumed retrieval operations for the remains of passengers of the ill-fated Cessna 340 plane. 80 people are assigned to bring down the 4 bodies from Mount Mayon, or 20 responders for each victim. The retrieval operations were halted for a couple of days due to bad weather. The Immigration Bureau has launched its own TikTok account to counter trafficking syndicates recruiting through the platform. The BI has received numerous reports that unscrupulous companies are recruiting urban professionals on social media. The victims are then brought abroad to work as cryptocurrency scammers. The Philippine Coast Guard is now testing water samples at Balingawan Point in Nauhan Oriental, Mindoro. This is to determine if industrial fuel spilled onto its waters following the sinking of MT Princess Empress. The Coast Guard earlier said that the spill was that of regular diesel and could be washed off by waves. After 945 days, Hong Kong is dropping its mask mandate. What does that mean for tourism in the region? Danny Lee reports on Bloomberg TV.
Danny, just on that point on Hong Kong, in terms of lifting the mask mandate, where do we stand and what does this mean for tourism and flights into the region?
Yeah, good morning, Danny. So we heard Hong Kong hours ago announce the end of one of the world's longest mask mandates after 945 days. That mandate will end on Wednesday, and that comes as the chief executive of Hong Kong, its city's leader, John Lee, declared complete normalcy with the Asian Financial Hub returning back to normal, and that announcement made on Tuesday. This can be very important for Hong Kong as it's got a whole range of cultural and sporting festivals taking place over March and April, so this is a very good time. Hong Kong's following Macau in making its announcement on ending mask mandates. It made its announcement on Monday, and Hong Kong has been flying around the world saying Hong Kong is back, but those were only just words, and now we see Hong Kong making clear actions on opening back up to the world after what's been a largely punishing 3 years of very strict COVID rules.
For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine star in business world online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Angela Lagunzad. We are One News.